Case File 14-0773. Opened on a Tuesday in late October, 11:14 in the morning. Missing Persons Report, filed by a family member. Classification: active. 2 subjects. A 2009 Honda Civic, registered to the primary subject, color listed as silver. Last known location: Route 9 at the intersection with County Road 4. Vehicle recovery location, listed 4 pages later in the same file. Mile marker 41. Mile marker 41 does not appear on the county's official road registry. It hasn't since 1987. The road is there. The record says it isn't. That single contradiction, a location that exists in the physical world but not in the documentation meant to govern a search for 2 missing people, sits at the center of this file unexamined for 5 days. The file lists the primary subject as Denise Calloway, 34, registered owner, vehicle of interest, reduced to a name, a number, a designation. What the file does not contain is that Denise Calloway kept a hand-drawn map of every back road in the county taped to the inside of her glove box. Roads she'd driven since she was 16, roads that predated the asphalt that replaced them, roads the county itself had stopped tracking decades earlier because nobody thought they mattered anymore. The file does not contain this. The map was still in the glove box when the vehicle was found. The second subject is listed as minor occupant, male, age 10. His name was Mason. The file gives him a designation and an age. It does not give him the detail that he collected bottle caps. Every gas station, every road trip, dropped into a tin his grandfather had given him before he died. That tin would later become the single most important piece of evidence in this case. The file, at this stage, does not know the tin exists. 2 people, 1 classification each. The record establishes who they are administratively, says nothing about who they were. The last confirmed entry places the vehicle at a gas station on Route 9 at 6:47 p.m. A receipt, fuel purchase $11.40, paid in cash. Surveillance footage from the station shows the vehicle pulling out of the lot at 6:52 p.m. Then the footage ends. Not because the camera was turned off, because the recording loop reset. A known fault in the system, documented in 3 separate maintenance requests filed over the preceding 8 months. None of them actioned. After 6:52 p.m., the record goes silent. No toll cameras on this stretch of road. No additional surveillance. No witness statements entered into the file for that evening. Not yet. For days pass before the next confirmed entry. For days, and the road they were last seen heading toward isn't one the county acknowledges exists. The next entry in the timeline is a phone call. 9:14 p.m. that same night. Carla Whitfield, Denise's sister, calls the sheriff's department's non-emergency line. She'd been expecting a call from Denise at 9 p.m., as they did most evenings. 14 minutes after that call didn't come, she picked up the phone. The call is logged. Timestamp: 9:14 p.m. Category assigned: welfare check. Priority: low. Response window: 24 hours. This is what the record shows. What the record does not show, what exists only in Carla's own handwritten notes from that night, made minutes after she hung up, is that during that 9:14 call, Carla told the dispatcher something specific. An hour before calling the sheriff, she had called a trucking company's dispatch line, trying to reach anyone who might have seen Denise's car on Route 9. A driver had called back. He told Carla he'd seen a silver car on what he called the Old Mill Road, off mile marker 41, sometime around 5:40 in the evening. Parked, door open, nobody visible from the road. Carla relayed this to the dispatcher, word for word according to her notes. The dispatcher's call log for 9:14 p.m. contains 6 lines. None of them mention a truck driver, a mill road, or mile marker 41. The deputy's incident report, filed the following morning at 8:03 a.m., summarizes the call as, caller reports sister and nephew did not arrive as expected. No further information provided. No further information provided. Carla provided further information. It does not appear in the report. This is the first institutional failure in the file, and it is not an editorial judgment. It is the gap between what one document says was said and what another document written by the person who said it records as having been said. 20 hours and 46 minutes after the welfare check was logged, a search grid is established. The grid covers Route 9 and its mapped tributary roads, 12 roads, each assigned a search team, each logged with start and end times, mileage covered, terrain notes. This is documented thoroughly. Grid sectors 1 through 12, searched between hour 36 and hour 52 of the case. Findings logged as negative across all sectors. The Old Mill Road is not among the 12. It was resurveyed off the county registry in 1987, and the search grid, generated from current county road data, does not include roads that no longer officially exist. The search teams covered every road the county's mapping software told them to cover. The road where the vehicle was reportedly seen was never on that list. It is searched on day 5, not by a search team, by Carla, having received no update for 4 days, and having kept the truck driver's account in her notes the entire time. She drove the Old Mill Road herself on the morning of day 5. She found the vehicle 200 yards off the roadway, nose first into a drainage ditch, partially obscured by brush that, according to the recovery report, was consistent with the vehicle having been in this position for approximately 4 to 5 days. 4 to 5 days. The vehicle had been there since the evening it disappeared. The search grid, established on day 2, never reached it. The road it sat on wasn't a road, according to the documents that built that grid. The truck driver's account enters the official record on day 4, 1 day before the vehicle is found, but after Carla has already relayed it twice. He is identified in the file only as witness 4. His account is not taken as a direct statement. It is summarized, secondhand, in a deputy's supplemental report. Witness states he observed a vehicle matching description. Time approximately 1,740 hours. Location described as Old Mill Road near mile marker 41. Examined as evidence, which is what it is, witness 4's account contains 3 specific checkable details. The time, 5:40 p.m. The vehicle's position, nose in, driver's side door open. And a 4th detail, mentioned almost in passing in his statement to Carla but omitted entirely from the deputy's summary. A small tin, lid open, sitting on the hood of the car. When the vehicle was recovered on day 5, the driver's door was found open, consistent with witness 4's account. The vehicle's position, nose first into the ditch, was consistent with his description of its angle from the road. And 30 feet from the vehicle, in the brush, recovery personnel logged an item, metal container, approximate 4 by 6 inches, contents, assorted bottle caps, Mason's tin. The tin was 30 feet from the car. Witness 4 saw it on the hood at 5:40 p.m. Between 5:40 p.m. and the moment the vehicle was found, someone moved it 30 feet from the vehicle and into the brush. The file does not draw this connection. Witness 4's stated time, 5:40 p.m., places the vehicle at that location 52 minutes before the gas station surveillance footage ends. 2 records from 2 different sources describing the same evening, an hour apart, neither cross-referenced against the other. The chain of decisions that produced this gap can be reconstructed from timestamps alone. At 9:14 p.m. on day 1, the on-call sergeant received Carla's call. At the time of that call, the sergeant, by virtue of his position, had access to a document filed in the department's records system since 2009. An addendum listing 14 roads decommissioned from the county registry but still physically passable, compiled specifically for use in search operations after 2 prior incidents where searches had been delayed by exactly this kind of gap. The Old Mill Road is the 3rd entry on that list. The addendum had been consulted twice before, in 2011 and 2015, both times successfully locating search subjects on roads the county's mapping software didn't recognize. The sergeant did not consult the addendum. There is no record of it being opened, referenced, or distributed to Search Command at any point during the first 72 hours. The following morning at 8:03 a.m., a deputy took Carla's follow-up statement in person. According to Carla's notes, written the previous night and read back to the deputy, by her account twice, she repeated the truck driver's information. The name of the trucking company, the approximate time, the location described as the Old Mill Road near mile marker 41. The deputy's written report from that morning does not contain this information. It states only that the caller has no additional information beyond the initial report. 2 opportunities. 2 records of what was said. 2 records of what was written down afterward. The distance between them is 14 words on one side. Old Mill Road, mile marker 41, around 5:40, a man named in the trucking company's logs, and their complete absence on the other. On the morning of day 5, Carla drove the Old Mill Road and found the vehicle. Denise Calloway was alive, unconscious for portions of the previous days, suffering from a head injury sustained in the initial crash that left her unable to exit the vehicle or call for help. Mason was not in the vehicle. Search teams, redeployed to the new location within hours of Carla's discovery, located Mason 9/10 of a mile from the crash site, in dense terrain, 36 hours after Denise was recovered. He had left the vehicle on the first night, after the crash, to find help, and had become lost in unfamiliar woods in the dark. He was found alive, hypothermic. He had survived 5 nights. Investigators later went back through witness 4's account, point by point, against the physical evidence recovered at the scene. The time he gave, 5:40 p.m., was consistent with the gas station footage timeline and the crash itself. The vehicle's position and the open driver's door matched the recovery report exactly. The detail about the tin matched its recovered location, 30 feet from the vehicle, to within the margin of how something might roll or be carried in that distance. Every detail in witness 4's account that could be checked against physical evidence was confirmed. Had the unmapped roads addendum been consulted at 9:14 p.m. on day 1, a document that existed, was accessible, and had been used successfully twice before for precisely this scenario, the Old Mill Road would have been included in the search grid established on day 2. The vehicle would have been located within the initial 36-hour search window, 3 days earlier than it was. 3 days is the difference between Mason being found on day 2, in the immediate aftermath of the crash, in terrain he had not yet had time to become lost in, and Mason being found on day 6, 36 hours after his mother, 9/10 of a mile into woods he had wandered for 5 nights. 3 days is the entire distance between this case file's 2 possible endings. Only one of them happened. The department conducted an internal review, completed 11 weeks after the recovery. Its findings cite a communication breakdown between initial intake and search command regarding supplementary location information. No individual is named. No disciplinary action was filed against the on-call sergeant or the deputy who took the follow-up report. The review's recommendations section contains 1 operational change. The unmapped roads addendum, previously an optional reference document, was made a mandatory consultation step, with a corresponding checkbox added to the missing persons intake form the following year. Witness 4's account appears in the final case file as Exhibit 7. 1 paragraph, and signed. It is the only document in the file that, when checked against physical evidence, was found to be entirely accurate, and it is the only document in the file marked in the records index as supplementary not relied upon. Case 14-0773 is closed. Classification: resolved, located, no further investigation required. Denise Calloway recovered from her injuries and lives. Today, 40 minutes from the location where she and her son were found. Mason recovered as well, though the file does not track outcomes beyond recovery. That information exists only outside the record, in the way these things usually do. The official record's final entry, dated several weeks after the recovery, reads, "Case resolved. No further action required." Carla's notes from the first night, the ones written down minutes after her 9:14 p.m. phone call, the ones that contain the trucking company's name, the time, the road, the marker number, end with a different line. It was written that night, before anyone knew what the next 5 days would hold. It reads, "He said he saw them. I told them twice." 2 lines. One closes a file. The other was never entered into it. The distance between them is the entire story.